Welcome to the Barrett channel and welcome to another video. Before I start, I just want to say a big thank you to all those people who support our channel. It is really appreciated. It allows you for us to keep bringing you this type of content. I haven't done a walk and talk video for a few weeks. We've been kind of busy doing other stuff, but the sort of stuff happening that I'm seeing that makes me kind of concerned. And the topic of today's video is America readying itself for a war against China, with China? Are they planning to attack China? Now, this may be quite alarming to some of you, but I just want to talk about the observations and my opinion on this. So, the President of the US right now is having a tough time. It's looking likely that he's not gonna win the next election, and he seems a very desperate man. And you know, desperate people do desperate things. And from what I understand from speaking to some of my American friends, that the American people see war as a way of unifying, and Trump is desperate to unify the American citizens behind him at this point in time. And I've just noticed some sort of things that have been happening over the last month or the last few weeks that are quite concerning to me. So let's first of all take the build-up of the American sort of navy in the South China Sea. Now this is quite worrying. That, you know, they've got more ships than they usually have in there, and also one of their allies, the UK, which is where I'm from, has also sent an aircraft carrier to the South China Sea area, albeit that for the UK to take any action, that would have to go through Parliament, and I'm pretty doubtful that Parliament would sort of vote on any legislation in the UK to launch an attack against China. But it seems at the moment that you know, President Trump has sort of done away with any sort of democratic process. He just keeps signing off these executive orders, similar to a dictator in a country would do. So he's sort of he's kind of doing away with Congress by the way he's signing off these orders. Anyway, I want you to focus your mind back to the time just before the US invaded Iraq. So in the months leading up to when they invaded and attacked Iraq, they constantly kept pushing out news and articles telling us how dangerous Iraq was, what a threat Iraq was to the you know, to America and other countries around the world. And they kept pushing the narrative about weapons of mass destruction. And when Iraq was finally invaded, they actually found nothing, and it turned out that the weapons of mass destruction thing was either very bad intelligence or a pack of lies to justify Iraq being attacked. And I see in the last few weeks there's been more and more. There was a report came out of the Pentagon, and there's been more and more news articles which have been pushing this same narrative in the US, that the Chinese military are becoming more and more of a threat. The first sort of report I've seen, I believe it was from Fox News, I may be mistaken there, was saying that, you know, China's missile capability was way more than America's, or better than America's. And now I've sort of seen in the last couple of days a report that was suggesting China's navy is you know, a big threat to the US and the world. And I find this kind of strange in that, you know, if you look at America's spending on military, it is far greater by a country mile than what China currently spends on its military. So that suggests either a couple of things to me, that the Pentagon has released these reports. Either China have been spending far more on their military than people think, or America have been wasting their money on military equipment that is not very good. So I don't know what you make of that. You tell me down in the comments what you think. So I really feel that, you know, they're trying to condition the people in America and somewhat the West to suggest that China is this huge threat to world peace. And I kind of don't really buy this. And the reason I don't buy this is because if you look at the last years, who is the bigger aggressor here? Is it China or is it the US? And again, please tell me in the comments what your thoughts are about this. So my opinion on this is if you look how many countries China has attacked or invaded over the recent sort of 20 to 30 years, it's little or none. If you compare that with America's record, you know, just off the top of my head, I could mention Syria, I could mention Iraq, I could mention Afghanistan. You know, America seems to be much more of an aggressor here than China. And I don't see any provocation whatsoever from China towards America with regards to sort of war or conflict. What I do see is that China seem to be a very country who really want to use diplomacy to solve problems, not war. You know, I appreciate that Taiwan, they do threaten military action against Taiwan or force against Taiwan. But I think in reality that is more of a threat than something they would actually carry out. Something else to just mention about Taiwan, I've noticed that you know, America have more recently talking about sending weapon systems to Taiwan and how they will back Taiwan in any conflict with China. And that's sort of interesting. It's almost like they are building up to use Taiwan as an excuse to launch an attack on China, which is really very worrying. And as I said in the start, or earlier in the video, I just feel that I feel that America are, you know, getting the people ready for something that's going to happen. You've got this large navy build-up, and that is a concern to me, simply because that with all these different sort of players in the South China Sea, you know, something very small that could happen almost by accident could, you know, lead to a much bigger conflict, and that is really not good for anyone. You know, I feel that the only threat that China is to the US is an economic and technological threat, but that's for another video. So yeah, this kind of brings me to the end of my opinions and thoughts on this. But I'd really like to know what you guys think. So, you know, drop something down in the comments. You know, do you think there's a realistic chance that America will launch an attack on China? Because a lot of, you know, what the sort of things I'm seeing and the things that are happening really kind of leads me to believe that could actually be a scenario that may happen. I really hope it doesn't. I think that would be very stupid, but who knows? You know, Trump seems to be a very desperate man at the moment, and he seems to be doing some very desperate things in order to remain in power. But anyway, that's the end of this video. So as always, for now, take care.